Hi, automotive enthusiasts. Welcome to Cam and Crank, where passion meets precision and the stories behind legendary machines come alive. Today, we're diving into one of the most audacious performance hatchbacks ever built. The 1992 Ford Escort RS Cosworth, a turbocharged rally monster that transformed a modest family car into a motorsport icon. Over the next 25 minutes, we'll unravel how a whale-tail spoiler, cutting-edge turbo tech, and bold engineering decisions collided with high stakes. World Rally Championship battles to shape Ford's legacy and inspire generations of enthusiasts. This isn't just about horsepower figures or stats on a spec sheet. It's a story of ambition, risk, and the cultural shockwave that followed. Picture the early 90s. Rallying was the gladiator arena of motorsport, where mud-splattered heroes fought through snowbanks and gravel with millions watching. Ford's rally program was under pressure, their previous efforts lagging behind giants like Lancia and Subaru, and executives knew a radical move was needed. Enter the Escort RS Cosworth, a car that didn't just play by the rules but stretched them to the edge. Grafting an aggressive body onto a humble Escort shell and hiding a Rally-Bred drivetrain beneath, its gigantic rear wing wasn't for show. It was a functional statement that aerodynamics could win championships, yet the gamble carried risk. Fans questioned whether Ford was merely dressing up an economy car or if this machine could truly deliver. Today, we'll explore three intertwined narratives. First, the birth of the RS Cosworth and the audacious choices that forged it. Then, the intense rally campaigns that tested its mettle on some of the harshest stages on Earth and forced constant evolution. Finally, the lasting legacy that turned a short production run into a long-term cultural force. By the end, you'll see how a car dismissed by skeptics became a hero of turbocharged folklore. So buckle up, automotive enthusiasts, because the Escort RS Cosworth story is a wild ride that proves bold ideas can echo far beyond the podium. Microstory. In the early 90s, Ford's motorsport division was staring at a crossroads. The Group A rally rules demanded homologation cars that were close cousins of showroom models, and their Sierra Cosworth was aging fast. Engineers proposed something radical. Take the ordinary Escort, known as a commuter hatchback, and engineer it into a world-class rally weapon. This meant more than a facelift. They would rework the chassis, graft a sophisticated all-wheel drive system, and install Cosworth's proven turbo engine. Skeptics inside Ford feared the cost and complexity, but leadership knew standing still meant irrelevance. The Escort RS Cosworth was greenlit as a gamble to restore Ford's rally dominance. Context Digest. Group A regulations of the era allowed manufacturers to homologate with 5,000 street cars, meaning the RS Cosworth couldn't just be a rally prototype, it had to function as a production car people could buy. This unusual constraint created a tension between performance and practicality, forcing Ford to design a hatchback that could commute comfortably, but also tackle alpine snowbanks at 120 mph, reflection bridge. The stakes weren't just about trophies, but about Ford's credibility among performance enthusiasts worldwide. The project had to prove the badge still meant excitement. Microstory. To make the Escort's humble shell competitive, engineers borrowed the Sierra's proven drivetrain and re-engineered the Escort's floor pan to fit a new suspension setup. Cosworth's turbocharged YB engine received tweaks for better low-end torque. Essential for rally hairpins, the distinctive whale-tail spoiler wasn't a styling whim. Wind tunnel tests showed it dramatically improved high-speed stability. This bold aero cue would become the car's signature, turning heads on city streets and rally stages alike. Context Digest. Turbocharging in the early 90s was still a developing art. Lag and heat management were constant challenges. Ford's choice of a Garrett T3 T04B turbo was aggressive, offering massive boost potential, but requiring careful driving to exploit. At a time when rivals like Lancia Delta Integrale and Toyota Celica GT4 had dialed-in setups, Ford's entry needed every aerodynamic edge, reflection bridge. These engineering choices hinted at both genius and potential pitfalls, setting up a rally season that would test every design decision. Microstory. The RS Cosworth's public debut caused a stir. Journalists marveled at its purposeful stance and outrageous rear wing. Fans queued for the limited production street cars, some seeing them as instant collectibles, rally insiders. However, were split. Some praised Ford's boldness, while others whispered that its Escort roots might be a liability on rough stages. When the car entered competition, the pressure was immense. Every stage win or failure would define its reputation overnight. Context Digest: the World Rally Championship was fiercely competitive. Lancia's Delta Integral was a proven champion. Subaru was rising fast with the legacy, and Toyota was pouring resources into the Celica GT4. Ford couldn't afford mediocrity. Even a mid-pack finish could mean budget cuts or leadership shakeups. Micro-story: early rallies revealed both brilliance and flaws. On gravel, the Escort's chassis felt nimble and responsive, but on tarmac stages, turbo lag could punish drivers exiting corners. Mechanics scrambled between events. Refining boost maps and suspension settings, the RS Cosworth managed podium finishes that silenced some doubters, but consistency remained elusive. Reflection bridge: each rally became a high-stakes laboratory, pushing Ford to innovate faster or risk fading into the background. Micro-story: behind the scenes, Ford developed evolution upgrades, lighter body panels, improved turbos, and updated aerodynamics. These evolutions showed how the homologation process wasn't just a box to check, but a path for continuous improvement. The Evo versions would later become holy grails for collectors, embodying the fine-tuning born from rally warfare. Context Digest: homologation specials like the RS Cosworth weren't built for mass profit. They were halo cars, meant to boost a brand's image and showcase engineering prowess. Their scarcity and purpose-built nature make them legendary today. Micro-story: fans on the street fell in love. The Escort RS Cosworth wasn't just fast, it was attainable compared to exotic supercars. It democratized high performance, showing that a turbocharged hatch could feel as thrilling as a sports coupe. The whale tail became a badge of insider knowledge, a nod among enthusiasts that you understood rally culture. Reflection bridge: this cultural spark set the stage for Ford's rally campaigns to become more than motorsport. They were a statement about accessible performance. Micro-story: by the mid-90s, the RS Cosworth's rally story had grown complicated. Despite flashes of brilliance, it struggled against increasingly refined rivals. Budget constraints limited development compared to Japanese manufacturers pouring millions into their teams. Still, the car's character and daring design earned it a loyal following. Even as Ford prepared to pivot strategies, Context Digest: rallying in that era was an arms race. Electronics, aerodynamics, and driver talent combined in unpredictable ways. Ford's RS Cosworth sometimes punched above its weight, but couldn't consistently topple factory-backed giants. Micro-story: away from the rally spotlight, tuners discovered the YB engine's hidden potential. With aftermarket tweaks, these cars were reliably pushing 400 horsepower or more. Street legends grew around their straight-line speed and Rally-Bred handling, cementing the RS Cosworth's reputation as a platform for enthusiasts to build their dreams. Reflection bridge: all these threads, motorsport ambition, tuner culture, and collector intrigue, were converging, setting up the next phase where the Escort RS Cosworth's influence would ripple beyond competition results, seamlessly. This brings us into the broader cultural and technological impact that reshaped Ford's performance strategy and the turbocharged hatchback scene. Micro-story: as the 1990s progressed, Ford's rally team faced a hard truth. The Escort RS Cosworth's flashes of brilliance weren't enough to secure consistent championship victories. Subaru's Impreza and Mitsubishi's Lancer evolution were evolving rapidly, pairing cutting-edge tech with talented drivers. Ford responded with mid-season tweaks and revised Evos. But resources were stretched thin. The rally program became a test of ingenuity under pressure, and every event felt like a battle for survival rather than dominance. Context Digest: the competitive environment pushed manufacturers to experiment with new materials, smarter differentials, and electronic aids. Ford's more limited budget meant they had to extract every ounce of performance from existing components, a reality that revealed both the strengths and limits of the RS Cosworth's architecture. Reflection bridge: these challenges didn't diminish the Escort's charisma. If anything, they sharpened its legend as an underdog hero. Micro-story: away from the rally stages, the RS Cosworth carved out a second life on public roads. It was quick enough to humble pricier sports cars, Yet practical enough for everyday driving, owners loved its raw turbo surge, mechanical feel, and unmistakable styling. It became a fixture at car meets and track days, a symbol of authentic performance in an era when many cars grew heavier and softer. Context digest. Insurance premiums and stricter emissions rules in the mid-90s began to squeeze the market for hardcore homologation specials. Many manufacturers shifted focus to more mainstream performance models, making the RS Cosworth's uncompromising nature even more appealing to enthusiasts who valued purity over convenience. Reflection bridge. This cultural positioning would help the RS Cosworth endure as a collector icon even after Ford moved on. Microstory. The Escort's distinctive whale tail wing transcended its original purpose, becoming a design icon in its own right. Graphic designers, video game developers, and toy manufacturers immortalized its shape. Its appearances in rally video games and die-cast collections introduced a new generation to the car long after production ended. Context digest. Cosworth's YB engine, already legendary in tuning circles, became a benchmark for robustness. Its iron block and strong internals invited ambitious boost levels, and stories of 500 horsepower builds circulated widely. This reputation fed a global tuner culture that saw the RS Cosworth as a blank canvas for speed. Microstory, Ford's broader performance strategy began to shift. Lessons from the Escort RS Cosworth influenced future hot hatches like the Focus RS, the philosophy of pairing practicality with Rally-Bred. Engineering created a lineage that continues to this day. Reflection bridge. The Escort's DNA can be traced in every modern Ford hot hatch, a reminder that innovation under pressure can set long-term direction. Microstory. Even collectors outside. Europe began importing RS Cosworths once they became legal in the United States under the 25-year rule. Auction prices climbed. Driven by nostalgia and scarcity, owners preserved them carefully, aware that each car is a tangible link to a golden age of rally. Context digest. The rise in collector value reflects a broader trend. Homologation specials from the 80s and 90s are increasingly seen as investments. Combining motorsport heritage with unique driving experiences, microstory. Stories persist of enthusiasts who bought these cars new, daily drove them, then watched as values skyrocketed. They remember the feeling of being part of something special, a community bound by turbo lag, gravel scars, and shared passion. Reflection bridge. These personal connections give the Escort RS Cosworth's legacy an emotional depth that transcends stats or podium finishes. Microstory. The car's cultural imprint even influenced rival manufacturers. Seeing Ford's bold wing and aggressive stance, competitors embraced wilder styling cues, fueling a design arms race in rally-inspired street cars. The RS Cosworth's unapologetic approach to aerodynamics shifted public expectations about what a performance hatch could look like. Context digest. By the late 90s, World Rally Championship rules evolved again, eventually phasing out Group A in favor of World Rally cars. This change marked the end of an era, but the Escort RS Cosworth's impact had already been made. Microstory. For enthusiasts today, spotting a real RS Cosworth on the road is like encountering a living piece of motorsport history. Its proportions, turbo whistle, and distinctive rear wing evoke memories of an analog age when bravery and clever engineering could outshine big budgets. Reflection bridge. All these cultural echoes build toward a final understanding. The RS Cosworth was more than a product of its time. It planted seeds for future generations of performance cars and automotive culture. Seamlessly, this leads us into the last movement, where we explore its enduring legacy, influence on modern Ford icons, and the lessons it left for today's enthusiasts. Microstory. Even decades after its debut, the Escort RS Cosworth's DNA pulses through Ford's performance lineup. The Focus RS and Fiesta ST both owe their existence to the precedent the RS Cosworth set. That a compact hatch could deliver world-class excitement, engineers studying its Rally-Bred aerodynamics and turbo philosophy carried forward its spirit of accessible performance. Even as technology shifted toward sophisticated electronics and tighter emission standards, Context digest. The RS Cosworth emerged from a time before traction control and adaptive dampers dominated. Its analog nature makes it uniquely visceral today, a reminder of how pure engineering choices once defined a car's character. Reflection bridge. In an age of software updates and electric motors, the Escort's rawness stands as a counterpoint, proving that authenticity can outlast technological trends. Micro-story. Modern rally culture still reveres the RS Cosworth. Vintage rally events often feature these cars sliding through gravel corners, their whale tails kicking up. Rooster tails of dust, spectators cheer not just for nostalgia but for the timeless spectacle of a machine built with audacity. It's a living testament to when Ford risked reputation and budget to challenge giants. Context digest. As motorsport evolves with hybrid systems and sustainable fuels, historic cars like the RS Cosworth provide context, showing how innovation has always been a response to regulation and rivalry. Reflection bridge. Looking back at its rally campaigns clarifies why its limited success didn't diminish its myth. It wasn't the number of trophies, but the style and daring with which it fought. Micro-story. Collectors who restore these cars today often speak of the satisfaction in preserving a chapter of motorsport history. They track down period-correct parts, preserve the iconic whale tail, and keep the YB engine singing. These restorations are acts of devotion, ensuring that future enthusiasts can experience a piece of 1990s rally magic. Context digest. Auction houses now spotlight Escort RS Cosworths alongside exotic supercars, proof of their elevated status. Values continue climbing, driven by scarcity, nostalgia, and the recognition of its influence on modern performance culture. Micro-story. Beyond collector circles, the RS Cosworth influences pop culture. Video games like rally simulators and street racing franchises keep its shape and sound alive. Social media clips of crackling turbo spools and gravel launches introduce younger audiences to a car older than they are. This virtual presence ensures the Escort RS Cosworth never fades into obscurity. Reflection bridge. Its legacy demonstrates how a single bold idea can ripple through generations, affecting design, engineering, and even digital culture. Micro-story. Ford's own marketing teams acknowledge the Escort's importance when they reference it in campaigns for new performance models. Its silhouette appears in anniversary art, and engineers speak of it as an ancestor whose lessons guide modern projects. Context digest. Even rival manufacturers tip their hats. Some rally legends today exist partly because Ford proved a humble hatchback could be an icon, raising the stakes for everyone. Micro-story. The Escort RS Cosworth stands as proof that audacity pays dividends, though its WRC record wasn't dominant. It carved out an immortal place in enthusiast culture. It showed that a company could gamble on passion and still reap rewards decades later. Reflection bridge. When you see its towering wing in person, you're not just looking at a car. You're witnessing a moment when design, engineering, and ambition aligned perfectly. Micro-story. As enthusiasts gather at rallies or meets and a Cosworth rumbles in, conversations pause and cameras lift. It's more than nostalgia. It's respect for a machine that dared greatly and left a mark impossible to erase. Context digest. In an automotive world rapidly shifting to electrification, the RS Cosworth reminds us of the value of character. The hiss of boost, the smell of brakes after a hard run, the feel of gravel under tires, these sensations connect us to why we fell in love with cars in the first place. Reflection bridge. All roads in this story point to one conclusion. The Escort RS Cosworth wasn't just a chapter in Ford's history. It's a benchmark for how passion-driven engineering can outlast trends and transcend generations. Seamlessly, this understanding closes the circle, leaving us with the Escort RS Cosworth's indelible impression on performance culture and Ford's identity. Thanks for staying with us through the Escort RS Cosworth's incredible journey. Automotive enthusiasts, what began as Ford's daring response to rally regulations became far more than a competition tool. It turned a commuter hatchback into a symbol of fearless engineering and motorsport ambition. Over the course of its creation, rally campaigns, and long-lasting influence, we've seen how bold choices can reshape a brand's destiny and captivate generations. The RS Cosworth's oversized wing wasn't vanity, but a wind tunnel lesson turned into a cultural icon. Its turbocharged heart didn't just chase podiums, it ignited tuner dreams, inspired video games, and left fingerprints on every Ford hot hatch that followed. In a world now dominated by advanced electronics and electric powertrains, the Escort's analog grit and unapologetic character remind us of a time when mechanical brilliance and bravery could win hearts. Its legacy lives on at vintage rallies, on collector floors, and in the memories of enthusiasts who felt its boost surge on open roads. If you ever spot one rumbling by, take a moment to appreciate the sound of history in motion. It's more than nostalgia. It's proof that innovation and audacity never go out of style. Here on, we cherish these stories not just for their specs or stats, but for what they tell us about the people and passions behind the machines. Thanks for riding with us on Cam and Crank. See you next time, automotive enthusiasts.